As part of our global networking series, I'd like to introduce you to Tara McEwen from McEwen Media. An award-winning producer, Tara believes every person has the potential to be a star storyteller. She's sharing decades of experience producing lifestyle and news content for Canada's top network, helping clients realize media opportunities they never thought possible. Tara is one of the formal mentors in the Share Your Stories marketing grant, and we appreciate her commitment to collaboration over competition. She joins us from Toronto, Ontario with Lights, Camera, Action, sharing tips for small business owners as we continue to increase our visibility. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you so much, Trish. I appreciate this. I love the full circle moment of this presentation. When I first started McEwen Media, I actually thought my business model would be teaching people how to look better on Zoom because it was 2021 and I found myself needing to interview for work at that time. And that was the first time where I realized, oh, how I show up on this space influences how people see me. And I was interviewing for TV positions, of course. So I'm like, how can I tell people that I'm a TV professional if my frame itself looks very haphazard and not technically savvy? So I actually started applying TV techniques that I can now use at home. So in the side screen, which I'll wave to right here, this is where you're going to see the technical setup that I've put together in the den of my home. So this isn't necessarily a professional TV studio, but I'm applying how we film stuff in TV studios to how I have my home set up. And you're going to see on the screen here how that changes the look of what this frame looks like. I find a lot of people, when they feel reluctant to see themselves on screen, it's because of the image. And if you talk to anyone who works in professional photography or professional videography or television, we know it's not you, it's the apparatus. It's not how you look. It's actually the camera and the lighting that's actually at play. So this frame, you can see, this is a high definition camera. Like I have a MacBook Pro, but photography, whether it's film photography or digital photography, is a chemical reaction that happens when light hits the surface. So if you think of a film strip, the image is what happens when light at different intensities, different, I'm liking the other terms, different intensities, different colors. There's an actual formal term for that, when that hits the frame. Digital photography works the exact same way. So your camera is only able to capture what the light sources are reflecting back on it. So in the den, I have just the overhead light. So this is where the quality of the camera is not great because there isn't enough light sending information to the camera. At the same time, there's a lot of shadows. There's a lot of, I don't feel my best because it's the overhead light. So what I'll share with you is a 3-point light system. This is the basic lighting design technique that is used in television, it's used in film, it's used in theater. The 3-point light technique is your key light, your fill light, and your backlight. So if you think of a theater stage, what I have on right now is the fill light. The fill light is kind of like the top-down lighting system that lights up the broader space. So this is the lighting that's happening in my den is coming from the fill light. The key light is, you want to think of that as the spotlight. So if you think of a theater production, the fill light sets the scene, lights up the props. The key light highlights the main characters in the scene. So here is actually the first key light that I started using on my desk, which was a task lamp, just a very, very simple task lamp. So this is something I just bought at Staples. What I like about it is that the head is adjustable. So the downside to using a desk light or an everyday light is that I can't control the intensity and I can't control the temperature of this light. So that's where you're getting a lot of harsh shadows. But you can already see like the details of this frame are already stronger than when I just had the one overhead light. So the key light is what's going to make you look the best. It's going to help you to stand out. The best key light source is actually the sun. So someone had mentioned in the previous breakout session that lighting in unfamiliar spaces is hard to figure out. So whenever I'm filming something that is not in my controlled home studio, I just look for a window. The sun is the best light source that we have access to. So position yourself where you're facing a window, and instantly the most important light is the key light, because that's what makes you look good. I'm going to show you the advantage of using a ring light instead of the key light, or instead of a desk lamp. So the ring light that I use, you can already see the difference. So with the ring light, this cost me maybe $25 at Amazon. Your standard ring light, you have controls over the temperature, the intensity, and so that's how you can get a more natural looking face, or a natural looking light source on your face. This is the best way to replicate whatever the sun would do for you if you were facing a window. What I love about the ring light that I have is that it's an adjustable stand. So someone had also mentioned, well, how do I avoid glare in my glasses? So the ring light, you'll see in the side view, the ring light is positioned higher than my face and tilted down. So size matters with diameter here. This is an 18-inch ring light. If you're going to shop for a ring light, that is the smallest diameter you want to look for. You want to go 18 inches or higher for the best possible coverage. The other hack for glasses, so the ring light itself is angled above and then tilted down so that I get the coverage. Another hack for glasses is to have the arms of your glasses a little bit higher than your ear. Now, when I look at the frame, the glasses look like they're flush against my face, but they're angled further away. So I actually have more range of movement. See how far I had to look up before I caught the ring light? So those are two hacks to avoid the glare from the glasses if you're going to be wearing glasses on camera to get the ring light. It's simply just getting the light away from your face and your eyes. So I mentioned this is a 3-part lighting system. So here is the backlight. Now, the importance of the backlight for me is it's setting the mood. It's setting the tone. If you think of studio spaces, if you think of like a daytime talk show, the backgrounds are always brightly lit. Like there was so much light in the studio space for the Marilyn Dennis show because that show was meant to be seen in the daytime. So the in-studio lighting, even though it was, inside of a television studio, we wanted it to look as bright as what the living rooms are in the homes that we're visiting. I think that also sets the tone of just lighter, friendlier, more optimistic conversations that you can expect. That's my vibe. That's my jam. If you think of, though, a late night talk show, the Tonight Show, the Late Show, their backgrounds are always dark because they're meant to replicate the people watching it at home or watching it at night. So this space also has to be dark. For some reason, it's also the go-to look for any filmed podcasts. They always have the dark backgrounds with the neon lights. So if that's your style, if that's your jam, go for it. I prefer the light brightness. So when I look at this frame, I see I am in a warm, friendly, inviting space. I don't have to do that extra heavy lifting to be energized and excited. I've set the scene with my lighting. So when you're doing your lighting, think of these 3 things. The most important thing is the key light. You want your face to be illuminated. If you can go these extra miles in terms of lightening and brightening the entire space with the fill light and the backlight, even better. The backlight, now because I have it in frame, that's actually another cinematography trick. It's a way of making sense all the lighting that's in this space. Cinematographers do this all the time. If you think of a scene where the character might be writing by candlelight, in order to capture that image on film, there's a ton of light around. But having the candle in the frame, the viewer connects all the light that is making this image possible is coming from the camera. So this is just an extra step to have the audience feel at ease. All the lighting that you see in the space is coming from this lamp. It's not. You saw in how I built the 3, like this did very little to change the look of my face, but it actually creates a more inviting atmosphere. There's another, I'll take this one step further. If you have the backlight behind you, and I'll kind of position my camera, that's how you can kind of create a halo effect. So this is how portrait photographers create that halo look. For a long time, I had that set up and it looked fine. So those are just ways to kind of take your shot from good to great. So that's lighting. The next point I want to make is cameras. Angles matter. Oh my goodness. I can't even describe how angles matter. So this is what I see so often with people. We have our cameras are fixed in our monitors and our laptops. So if you have a desktop monitor, it's either super high, or if it's in your laptop, it's super low. Most people don't think of where their camera angle is. They think, well, I'll just look at the camera and that's how I'm creating an inviting atmosphere. In my television brain, I'm like, this is the worst shot in the entire world. Because when you're looking at the camera, that is your opportunity to make eye contact with your audience. So when you're looking down at your camera, you're looking down at your audience, which is not a very friendly and inviting way to invite conversation. The other thing, especially within a space like this, because this is a low camera angle, you can start to see some of the ceiling height. Alfred Hitchcock used this low camera angle throughout Psycho to create the feeling of claustrophobia and anxiety. So the low camera angle, the lower the camera angle, the more claustrophobia and anxiety you're creating for your audience. A similar thing with the high camera angle, and I'll just raise my laptop. Some influencer somewhere told the women of the world that you're going to lose 10 pounds by camera by having the camera angle higher. This is another power structure. Again, think of the camera in your computer as the eye contact you're making with your audience. You're now looking up at everyone you're talking to. The ideal framing for television is level camera height. So this is the hack that I've been using since day one of the 2020 pandemic. You're really just if you're bringing your camera angle up, you're literally just think of, in studio terms, there's a camera called the pedestal camera. It's a fixed camera that is raised up or down until you get the level playing field. So right now, the camera in my laptop is at the same level as my iris. So I'm looking straight ahead at the audience. I am making eye contact. This is the camera level, the camera height that newsreaders use, that anchors use, no matter how tall they are in real life, no matter where their chairs are positioned. This is the ideal situation because you are at the same level making eye contact with the viewer at home. If you're interviewing someone and you're side by side screen, it's ideal for both eyes to be on the same playing level field, because then that's how the two people who are side by side look like they're making eye contact. These are all optical illusions, but this is where the level camera angle is ideal and where you want to strive for. So however you need to do this. So I have the camera and the fixed laptop. So I use a collection of books, and then I have this angled piece that I got at IKEA. If you use a webcam, some people have made the mistake of having it way too high. It's above their computer monitor. There are webcam tripods that are similar to the ring light that are adjustable. So whatever tools and techniques that you need to bring your camera level eye line, this is how you're going to make it look more professional. If you're ever booked on camera for a TV interview, they'll guide you through these things. So continuing on with the camera angle. So now we have the eye level correct. Next is proper framing. So in photography, there's a thing called the rule of thirds. So if you think of your screen, you've got 3 columns going left to right, 3 columns going up to down. The power box is in the center of the frame. That is where you want to have the most important piece of your frame is in the middle. When you're speaking, the most important part of your frame is your mouth. So you want to have your mouth in the center of the frame. If you're off to here, you're not in the center of the frame. If you're up in this corner, you're in the center of the frame. You want to have it in the middle. Another more best practices for TV composition is to give yourself a bit of headroom. You want to give yourself some breathing room at the top. And another nonverbal body language is to include your heart in the frame. Television, social media, all things media is humans seeking human connection. We connect with the heart. So you want to include your heart in the frame to have that heart-centered connection, even though, we're thousands of miles away. Like there are people on this call in India, there are people on this call in Paris. We're connecting in this way. So include your heart so you can have that heart-centered connection. So these are some of the technical things that I use to set up a professional TV studio look at home, using a lot of things that I have in place already. It's just about knowing how to really manipulate the tools at your disposal for the optimal look. And if I have a bit of time, I'll just share some final performance tips. So I readily admit it is still 4 years in, hella weird to be alone in my condo talking to a computer as if I'm talking to a room full of people. It's freaking weird. But you know what is similar to being a television host who is in a studio talking to thousands of people at home. So I'll share 2 examples of how to bring your energy up so that you have the best possible performance while still being authentic on camera. So when I worked on the Marilyn Dennis show, I would often be in the control room and I could watch her on her camera as she got ready to walk in. And she, 30-year veteran in television, her pre-show routine was she would get some last minute direction from her floor director. She'd collect her thoughts. And then while the theme music played, she would always have a little bit of a moment to herself, close her eyes, turn her body language inwards. And then as soon as the music, the key beats came up, she would open herself up. So shoulders back, posture up. I often tell people to sit on the edge of your seat. If you're sitting back, you're reluctant to, be hunched over, your posture. But if you force yourself to sit up, it now forces your posture to move up a little bit. Superwoman pose, that's another great one. Whatever it is, whatever you need to do to literally bring your energy up into the surface and out, that is what you're telling yourself. I am talking to a room full of people. They just happen to be boxes on a computer screen, but I'm still talking to a room full of people. So the other advice that I shared when I was producing people and prepping guests to be on camera, when we did have a studio audience, I would remind them, you're not communicating to the audience in the room. You're communicating to the audience at home. So think of the thousands of people who are not here but need your information. Once you start connecting to all the people who are not in this room but are watching from home, that is another way to bring your energy up. You're commanding a space. So all things media, all things being on screen is about commanding attention, holding attention. And that is the hardest thing in television. It's the hardest thing to do in social media. But if you are animated, if you bring your energy and if you bring your best self, you're giving people enough reasons to continue to watch what you have to say. And perfect timing, Trish, I am done. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Tara for sharing her expertise with us today. We've all taken a note or two, and we'll keep our tips in mind the next time we need to become camera ready. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time at our global networking event.